Good morning.
Good morning, Ma. We are at our new time for the Sunday Collective at 8 a.m. 8:30 a.m. India Standard Time. And today we are going to be exploring 9 stories of the 9 chakras to heal addiction and what are the challenges that we face on our path of de-addiction. Be it from substances, be it from relationships, be it from our own mental patterns or karmic journeys that we are addicted to.
Being angry, worrying, and being unhappy.
Absolutely. So as everyone is coming in, could you guide us in a morning mantra for this Empowered Sunday Collective?
Okay, let's begin by thinking of the sun and seeking respect and honor, sharing with the world around and inviting that into our hearts. So we can all close our eyes and meditate on the sound. Om Aditya Hridayam Punyaham Sarvashatru Vinashanam. 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 It's a very beautiful chant. It's from the Aditya Stotram, a part of it, that we are beseeching that the illuminating light of the sun is in auspiciousness entering the heart, and in that heart, if there are any negative qualities that are within me or I'm absorbing, are dissolved. And if there are any enemies, they are also dissolved. And if there are any negative vibrations coming towards me or in my environment, they're also dissolved through the exfoliating energy of the sun's light. So it's very, very powerful. It's a good thing to start every morning. Chant it 7, 9 times. Even 3 times is good.
So can we chant it once again 3 times?
Yes.
And connecting to the sun's rays of healing, of magnificence, of
the pinkish orange light.
Beautiful.
Aditya Hridayam punyaham sarvashatru vinashanam. Om Aditya Hridayam punyaham sarvashatru vinashanam. Om Aditya Hridayam punyaham sarvashatru vinashanam. Very sweet melody.
Grateful Ma, in your presence everything is melodious. And welcoming everyone. I see Simran, Dhruv, Umang, Anuradha Sachdev, Mamishi, Ritu, Mayuri Mehta, Ravish.
Oh, good morning, all of you.
Ashish Srivastav, Shubhrata, Minna Auntie, and many, many more.
Love you
Anubha and
all.
Rachna. So love you all and welcome to this exciting Sunday Collective where we continue towards the healing journey of our
Addictive behaviors.
yes. So as we journey forth, I'll request all of you who are tuning in and listening in that we're going to be actually going through connecting through stories that Ma is going to share here with all of us as promised from last Sunday Collective. And Ma, could you tell us a little bit about how these stories came about and what was your and my conversation that sort of inspired you to tell me these stories, and today we're going to be sharing them with everyone.
They were over the passage of time, some stories that I've heard from my father and my grandfather, and they've been instruments of learning that what we really see and what compels us to think in certain ways sometimes is not the truth. So to seek and seek and seek the truth of the matter and to unfold what is your potential as a human being. And some of the stories are from my sessions with people that I have learned from, and I'm extremely grateful. And they've unraveled certain parts of their life in front of me, which has been an instrument in me sharing them forward, and through it for helping other people to also learn that these are addictive patterns of behavior of human enterprise that we are helplessly rushing through, and we need to take a step back. We need to look, we need to listen, we need to hear, we need to reflect, contemplate, meditate, and in that create more information and understanding for ourselves, and at the same time to comprehend what is knowledgeable, what is illuminating, what is enlightening, and finally how we will liberate ourselves from the trappings of material nature, because remember that we're all here for just a very short time. And what we do in that short time is very, very important. How we interact with others, how we interact with ourselves, how we interact with our home, with our environment. And so it's very, very extremely important to understand how we think and how that is affecting not only our auric body and what's happening within our systems, but to understand that finally we don't have anybody else to blame, even if we are unhealthy and we have disease and we have some kind of ill health, that we are actually inviting it from the universe, and nature hates a vacuum, so like attracts like, so the energies will rush in to assist you in whatever you are contemplating and meditating on. And sometimes we are addicted to pain. So we invite the pain energies from the environment around us, and then we say, I didn't do anything wrong. Why did this happen to me? But the reality is that it's your own thinking and the substance of the material nature that will rush in to assist you. So that's why I always being positive is very important. And my grandmother always used to tell us when we were little kids, if anybody said anything negative, she used to say that Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, comes for 1 minute on everyone's tongue in 24 hours. And when she's visiting, and if you say something, then that becomes like a concretized, permanent, pattern of thinking and involving yourself with the universe around you. And you cannot eradicate that. So you have to be really careful, because she doesn't knock, I'm here. She just arrives unknown and she touches. And we used to keep asking our grandmother, because she was very sweet. So she used to say that it's like an impression in concrete. And she used to really teach us in very sweet ways. She used to say when it's wet and it's not hardened, you can still change the imprints. But once you made the imprints on your soul self, then not even God can cleanse them. But we know that healing does change things very magically and majestically, because it covers up those imprints and makes new designs and new patterns.
So that's really empowering, and I'm really excited to journey on these stories with you, Ma, and with everyone here. So just sort of, I had an idea that maybe as we're journeying through the chakras, we can just empower ourselves a little bit.
Yes,
so
of course.
With your permission.
I'm sending healing.
Yes. So as Ma is sending healing, please stay connected to my voice, everyone. And get comfortable wherever you're seated or lying down, or if you're walking, just simply listen to the sound of my voice and participate as best as you can. So we're going to begin by connecting to a point just above the base of our spine. And this point that is just above our buttocks, you can say, is a point that is known as the Kundalini Chakra. This is the first chakra that we're going to be connecting to today in our journey of the 9 chakras. What is a chakra? It is simply an energy point, a rotational force that is moving clockwise and anti-clockwise, almost like a wind or water turbine, and it's pulling in the positive and letting go of the negative when it is completely healthy. And sometimes when it's blocked or unhealthy, it can pull in the negative. So, in this moment, we heal and we affirm that our Kundalini Chakra, that is a bright orange reddish color, is fully awakened, flowing with spiritual and karmic awakened patterns, leading us to a new healed self. Please affirm with me and repeat after me. I am free of fatigue. I am free of fatigue. I am free of fatigue. So at this Kundalini Chakra, Ma, what is the complex cause of unhappiness that gives us a loss of ourself, our positive karma, and takes us away from our spiritual path, leading us to addictive behaviors?
So remember that the most addictive behavior is that we are always wanting more. And we want and we want and we want. And I'm going to share a story that my grandfather used to share with us when we were little kids. And it used to really surprise us. And we used to say, really? Is that how mathematics works in the universe? And he used to say, yes. And we were very, it was not fathomable that how does it work. So the story was there was once a very, very frail and old gentleman who lived in Arabia. And he used to, he had 3 sons and he was very fond of all 3 sons. And he used to go around tending to his fields, and he would, he had camels and he used to ferry people across, and sometimes goods and transport. So one day he got very, very, very sick. And he called his 3 sons and he said that, very soon I'm going to be leaving my body and I'm going to be going to the other world, and everything that I have, I want you to divide in this fashion. So they listened very intently. So he said that the eldest son will get half of whatever I have left behind, and the middle son will get 1/3, and the younger son will get 1/9 of whatever I'm going to leave behind. So all the 3 sons listened very intently, and they said that your wishes will be respected, and they looked after their father with a lot of love and affection, and after a few weeks the father passed away. So then they went around looking at what has he left behind, and they found that he had left exactly 17 camels. So now they were wondering that how are they going to mathematically divide these 17 camels into half and 1/3 and 1/9. So they were walking around, and they were fighting, and there was a lot of remorse and regret, and they were thinking of one of them was even suggesting cutting up the camel in half and things. And they were really not satisfied with all the solutions that they were coming up with. And so then they thought that our dad had a very good friend who was very, very intelligent. So let's just go and seek his help and see if he can help us. So then they went to him, and they were sitting and they were conjecturing and they were talking, and then the man was listening to their story, and he was saying, okay, let's look at what's the reality of your situation. So they said, this is how Dad had told us to divide, and we don't know how to divide these 17 camels. So the man looked at them and he said, I'm a very poor man. I have only 1 camel. But I can do one thing for you, and that is that I can give you my camel into this lot of 17, and I am going to help you divide them. So, just take my camel. I'm okay with giving you this. So then they were very overjoyed. They said, wow, this is such a nice friend of Dad's. He's given us his camel. And then they said, fine. So then the eldest son was given half of the 18. So he went off with 9 camels. And the second son, the middle son, was given 1/3 of the 18, which was lovely number 6. So he walked away with the 6. And then the third son was given 1/9 of the 18, which was 2. So he was given 2. And then he walked away with his 2 camels. And then the friend looked to heaven and he said, thank you, God, because his camel was still there. It was 9 and 6 and 2. 17. Right? So sometimes what you see in your destiny is a very, very, very karmically very
oh my
sweet.
God, that's like really something else.
Yeah, so that's how karma twists and turns and wriggles, and it's like the snake of your Kundalini is rising, and you're greedy and you want to chop and maim and disfigure some camel.
I really thought that they're going to start cutting up the camels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they wanted to.
Gosh.
But then they had some blessings from their father and from the wise man. And so then they said, wow. And then, of course, the wise man also looked up to heaven and said, this is like, you're a genius up there. And thank you for putting that thought in my mind and giving me this support. And then So that's how karma catches up with you at the Kundalini. You're really not sure what's in your fair share, and you think that you're fighting and tugging at that piece of bone or that piece of meat and saying, this is mine, and you spend your whole life fighting, and the reality, it's non-existent.
And so we're actually becoming unhappy or distressed
About something
that doesn't exist.
True.
It's an illusion.
So the story highlighted that for me when I was a little girl, and I used to always think. And then when we started studying arithmetic and maths, and then we were saying, wow, it's like amazing how it works.
Amazing how
Right?
it works. Absolutely, ma. Stunning. So then once our karma has uncoiled at the
Yeah.
Kundalini,
Yeah.
and so there are sort of, I think, two parallels that are running in my mind. One is that when it is, when we are filled with the greed and we are filled with all those negative, wanting to control emotions, and then that's when we tip over to addictive behaviors, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Or destructive behaviors.
Destructive and self-humiliating.
Self-humiliating.
And the interesting part I have to share here that, there's a little bit more, because you said we want to heal the chakras, right?
Yes.
So the Kundalini Chakra, it has this beautiful hue of orangish pink light, which is also coming from the sun, right? We did the mantra. But the interesting part is that it does have half the energies of the root chakra.
The Kundalini Chakra.
Yeah, the Kundalini
Okay,
Chakra.
wow.
Remember?
Yes.
The first son got half the energies
Yes.
of what his father
Father
left
left
behind.
Yes.
So the root chakra gives 50% of its red light to the Kundalini Chakra. So the red ray of light at the Kundalini is 50%. And then the beautiful solar plexus gives 1/3 of its energy to the Kundalini Chakra. So the yellow, the goldenish ray of light that permeates into the Kundalini is coming from the solar plexus, and it's 1/3 its energy. And 1/9 of the energy comes from the throat chakra. So if you can communicate, you can activate with your body good actions, and you can work on them with the energies of the red light from the root chakra, then you're very fit. You'll never be tired. You'll never be able to disengage from the truth, and your body will always be willing to act on what your throat chakra is telling it to do. So this is the other part of the story. So the red ray is the half of the Kundalini Shakti, and we have, and if you add up 17, it comes to the figure 8, and that's the loop of the 3 rays of the red, blue, and yellow light, that they're always intertwined and moving, never ending.
Into infinity.
Into infinity.
So we have to really be aware and alert, and we are not fatigued by our negative karma.
And so entrenched in like a cage or a jailhouse. We are always free to affirm at the throat with the blue light that we can forgive, we can forget, we can give up the act of worrying, anger, helplessness, false ego. Remember, the false ego is also sitting very close to the Kundalini, which is the Hara Chakra, and also your sex chakras, which are all forming this beautiful
landscape of our
karmic destiny, or the karmic kumbh, which is the base plate of your lovely inherited valuable energy that you brought from a previous lifetime. So you might as well use it for something good, to channel something new in this amazing destiny that you are creating in this human life. And it's all about sharing, being compassionate, and not letting hate and anger and despair and anxiety and aggression and frustration to take over, because that is the function of the Kundalini Chakra, is to cleanse and purify all the soul houses of your lovely central vortex of light, which is along your spinal column, and the Kundalini is rising to decontaminate and essentialize your positive energies so that you can bring them into the pristine karmic coma, and every action of yours is built on compassion and love and forgiveness and peace and tranquility and togetherness and friendship and harmony, to bond with relationships that are important to you. And your most important relationship is with Mother Nature.
Oh, wow. So as we go into this relationship with Mother Nature, there's actually a very perfect question that Parshvati has asked. Hello Parshvati, good morning. So she says, Master, how do we get rid of the addictive feeling of fear? And I think this, for me, this question is the perfect segue or the perfect lead-in to our journey into our navel chakra. And at that navel chakra, how there is a continuity of negativity and positivity coming from the navel chakra from our past lives or our past actions.
Because in our mother's womb, we are connected through the umbilical cord to gather the 5 elemental energies to create this body, this mind, all our 5 senses. And it's our mother who is becoming the host to giving us all the nectarian support to be who we are today in this physical body. So the umbilical cord is very, very, very important.
So then we have unraveled the serpent at our Kundalini. We've arrived at the navel to gather the strength and nourishment from Mother Nature and our material mothers and our spiritual mothers and the womb of the universe. And so how can we understand this in the context of letting go of addictive behaviors and feelings, such as fear, as Parshvati is asking? So what is the story at our navel that is unfolding?
The story at our navel is, very, very sweet interaction that we all have with our inner selves. And fear is sitting hidden like a seed, which is waiting to unfurl and to gather the light. And I'm reminded of a very sweet story, interaction that I had with one of the Goswamis in Vrindavan. And, we were on Mother Yamuna and we were in a boat and we were just doing Nauka Vihar, which is like a boat ride in the holy land of Vrindavan. And I remember telling him that, I'm feeling this immense, need for sharing something that, with the world that I'm in right now. So he told me that sound vibrations are very important. We can share them. So he went into this deep melody of chanting some mantras, and I also joined him and all. And then very close by, there was another boat that they were having a party. And this party was that they were blaring some Hindi film music. And they were all dancing and they had these speakers and, the flags were fluttering on their little boat and they were like having a gay time. So then this Nauka Vihar, the boatman, he shared with me that these are the sounds that disturb us. But if we just imbibe them into our story, that, and he went into that Radharani and Krishna dancing and then they're so enraptured with each other that the sounds around them don't really matter. And then, he shared that these sounds are going and they're becoming drops of the sweat that's coming from Krishna's body and is falling into Mother Yamuna. And Mother Yamuna is then quenching the thirst of all the people who are in material nature, and they're being who are partaking of that energy. And I remember just, we were going down the river. And then he said that now let's go back because it's going to be, the sun is setting. And when we were coming back, he had to make double the effort because he was coming against the current of the river. And then he was starting to hum the songs of that we had heard from the Hindi film songs, So I was thinking that now he's forgotten that his Krishna bhakti songs and, his mantras, and why is he singing these Hindi film songs? So I asked him that, can't you, look at chant some mantras instead of humming? You got infected. So he told me that no, to get through this river, upstream, I need so much energy that I need those drops that came of the sweat of Krishna, and those drops have a consciousness that they are, touched by that sound. So when I will listen to that sound, it will flow into my energy and give me the power. So then we were 5 or 6 of us on the boat. So we all started, singing the songs that had been on that loudspeaker, and we all started singing. And then within a few minutes, we were back on the banks of Mother Yamuna. And then he was looking at us and he was saying that you did something that brought me so fast. I've never experienced. So then we had, of course, channeled the healing light to him. But it was very interesting for me to see that the streams of anger and, the question that Parshvati asked. That
addiction to fear.
That what are you bringing and what are you taking back? If you, in both the activities, if you're connected to healing and you're connected to surrender and devotion, then whether the nectarian blessings of Krishna is coming directly to you, or you're connecting to his perspiration and his sweat, and that's amalgamated with the healing vortexes of light, and then you're inviting even that. So whichever form it's coming in, if you're centered on the healing, on the vibrations of the divine, of the love, then you're not contaminated. Then you're in pure action. So, this story always comes up in my consciousness that it was so sweet, that interaction.
So then the navel chakra is like this inlet and outlet. River or a rivulet, just like Mother Yamuna.
Yeah.
And so if we are always connecting to gratitude, love, our life force energy and our vitality, then that will take us and convert everything into the positive. Is that a correct understanding?
Yeah, and that to remember that you're on the boat and it's like moving a little bit. So it's like a little bit intoxicating and not addictive, but maybe even a little addictive to the movement of your soul self. And also addictive to just, shaking off the negative. So exercise is very good to engage with your navel chakra and to walk. Like Parshvati was asking, that how can you get rid of the fear? To always remember that the only fear is that you are separated from the divine. So unless you're reunited with that, you will never be able to get rid of that. So, to understand that it's the motivating force of healing, So it's like to experience it is to be sublimely aware of that you're supported and loved and you're not alone. So that's very important.
So I think that's a beautiful affirmation at the navel, that I am supported, I am loved, and I am not alone.
Never alone.
I am supported,
I am loved, and I am never alone.
I am supported, I am loved, and I am never alone. So actually this statement of yours that we are in this fear of being separated from the divine actually takes me now to the Crown Chakra.
Oh,
Immediately.
wow. Lovely,
Yes,
Divya.
to,
You're jumping from the Kundalini to the navel to the crown. And it's so interesting. I'll share with you why.
Yes, so when I'm jumping to the crown, what I am connecting to in this moment, of course, physically is at the top of our head, but more than that, I am connecting to this deep association with this unification of the higher self. This silent, observant self that is divine, filled with divine wisdom and understanding. But at this moment of corruption into the material universe, what happens that takes us further into the corruption? What makes us forget this unification with the divine, even in this material realm? Because in my limited understanding, the Crown Chakra is always activated. It's our life force energy.
It's never corrupted.
So it's never corrupted. So what is happening at the crown, or how can we heal with the energies of the crown that are about unification and not allow ourselves to get into a pattern of being moody or negative thoughts or being depressed or feeling alienated or even feeling a hesitation and criticizing ourselves that we are not good enough. So how do we heal this from the crown itself or with the crown itself? Like you said, that the crown is not corrupted, but we get corrupted. So what happens?
From the first story about the man in Arabia,
Yes.
we learned that, finally the universe is going to give us whatever is in our destiny, karmic pot, and we are going to be, centered in auspiciousness and wellness. So whether we get half, whether we get 1/3, or whether we get 1/9 of our share, the chakras are also having similar authorities, right? In interacting with each other. That the root chakra is, full of the red light, and it's giving half of its light to the Kundalini. So to understand that everything in the universe is sharing with us, and we are also sharing back.
So it's a giving and receiving.
Yeah, known and unknown. Sometimes we are going to be thinking of people, thinking of situations, reading a story, maybe even, combing our hair, and one hair falls out of your hair, somewhere. And that's your DNA and that's your energy. And then it's lying there. And somebody else is, going to sweep it, or somebody else is going to find it, and somebody is going to put it in the dustbin. So every interaction of every, part of your body is interacting with you from different... supposing you went to Cairo and you left one hair there, and then you came back. So, till that hair is alive there, it's not disintegrated completely or been absorbed by Mother Nature, you are a recipient of that energy in your crown chakra from that point. And if you go to, where would I take an extreme example? If you go to somebody's cremation and one of your hair falls there, and then you come back, and then for the, pattern of thinking of, that this human body should be used for better things. And, when you go to somebody's cremation, you understand the spiritual aspect of your life, that eventually everybody is going to be either buried or cremated, and, this body is not forever. So there's a great spiritual ethos that comes from that point, which awakens you, makes you, very aware of how you must live your life. And so all these points of contact where you have left some of your vital energies, or of places that you think of, or of people, you are actually giving them one corridor. It's like a spaghetti junction, where the roads are crisscrossing, and people can infiltrate, and people can bring you heaps of good fortune, and you can also interact with hate and anger and worry and fear and anxiety and despair and depression, and also gather those energies into your crown chakra. So the crown chakra is like a spaghetti junction, and it's called the Sahasra, that it's got 1,000 rivers of light coming and flowing, or 1,000 petals of the lotus that are unfurling, and from each of the tips of each of those petals there's a corridor of light that is activating from the spiritual realms and the material realms. So you have to be very careful of what you are activating in your crown chakra, and that's why it's so important to get connected to healing, because once you're connected to healing, then nobody can disrupt your crown chakra, because it's always going to be filled with the light of compassion and love and trust and honor and respect and devotion and understanding and knowledge and illumination and enlightenment.
So, is it correct to then say that it is actually, of course, that the crown chakra, because it's directly connected with the divine light, or like you said, these rivers of light, it's not getting corrupted, but it becomes an entry point for other thoughts, other situations, other vibrations to then infiltrate. And when we don't have a healing protection, then this can lead to changes in our behavior, our mood, our appetites, or our emotions in very extreme and sudden ways. Is that correct?
Yeah. And it's also, I have to state here, which I was smiling when you were talking about this, I was saying about the sequence of the
choices, that Kundalini navel to crown. Yes.
Yeah. So when a baby is taking birth, when the egg and the sperm are interacting and there's a nuclear explosion, the first chakra that manifests is the Kundalini.
Oh, wow.
And then the Kundalini chakra plans and figures out how to build the umbilical cord and attach as a placenta to the inner wall of the uterus of the mother, through which is going to pull all its nutrition and all. And when the baby comes through the birthing canal, or even in a cesarean section, and takes the first breath, the crown chakra is activated. And the energy begins to flow. So 2 chakras that we always, look at in the healing world. One is the navel chakra, which is the harbinger of all the material energies of air, water, fire, earth, and space. And the divine energies are coming through the crown chakra. That's why when one is initiated into any spiritual practice or healing, and also in the olden days, people used to bless people, they would always place their hands on the crown chakra and bless. And initiations are also taking place at the crown chakra. In the olden days, people used to respect the crown chakras. Women would cover their head. People would wear the pagri or the kippah or the skull cap. In different religions, we all have great respect for the crown chakra and the antakaran, the pillar of light that is bringing down the divine energies. So to honor, to respect. And then when the baby is 40 days old, then the heart chakra energy start to brighten and the root chakra becomes very activated. So that's
the chakra I was going to go to, the heart chakra.
Yeah, so sweet.
So I think that is where we'll maybe pause and come back in a minute.
Yes.
And when we come back, we will begin with the heart chakra.
Heart chakra. Heart to heart. Love you.
Heart. And so we begin our heart-to-heart journey. And so at the heart, what is that one sound, Ma, that is really resonating and magnifying our connection to that Kundalini navel crown healed experience?
I think that the sound of Om is the most majestic. Maybe we can chant it 3 times.
Okay, so all of those who are just joining in, We are continuing our journey with the 9 stories of the 9 chakras, and we've completed the Kundalini Navel and Crown Association in a magnified healing way today. And now we come to the Heart Chakra, which is at the center of your chest. So I'll request you all to participate by placing your right palm touching your body at the center of your chest and keeping your left palm on your lap or your thigh or just next to you if you're lying down. And let us be led by Renooji, by Ma, in this beautiful connection to the primordial sound of creation that is the Omkara or Om. So welcome back everyone. And before we go into our heart chakra journey of healing and connection, and especially healing our addictive personality, since that is the overarching inspiration, I would say. Yes, Ma, you're thinking something? You want to share something?
No. I was just meditating on the sound of Om and catching the frequencies of the ripples of sounds that were going out of my body, and I was happy that it's happening for all of you.
So grateful, Ma.
So the heart chakra is very sweetly in the center of our chest.
Resonating and vibrating with these waves of the Om.
Goodness.
So in fact, I just wanted to take this one question, Ma. I'm just scrolling up so I can see it. So we have Parveen. Hi, Parveen. She says, Ma'am, you said to activate the Crown Chakra, we should be connected to healing. What is the one way to be connected to the Kundalini Chakra? So Parveen, we are connected to all our chakras. Our Crown Chakra is already activated at the time of birth. If any one of your chakras shuts down, then you leave this physical body. Okay? So that is something that we all must understand very deeply. And the second aspect is that it is to completely protect and enhance our oneness with the divine and our ability to access all the rivulets of light at our Crown Chakra in complete expansiveness, that we should be connected to healing. When we are connecting to our Kundalini Chakra, it is only our karma that is connecting us to our Kundalini Chakra. So you and I can't do anything to activate or deactivate the Kundalini.
We can do Dhan.
Okay, Ma.
Mahadan, which is charity. Charity does interfere with 2 chakras very quickly, and one is the navel and the other is the Kundalini. So it could be watering a plant, it could be feeding the birds, it could be feeding somebody at home. You know, there's a friend of mine whose son is getting married, and they have 3 or 4 maids in the house. And when I saw that they were still dressed in their daily clothes that, you know, we see them every time we visit them, it really saddened me that they had not celebrated their happiness with the people who served them in the house. So everybody else was so ostentatiously dressed, and the house was dressed up, and everything was dressed up, but the people who work for you. So that can be also a very charitable act, if you will, step out of your comfort zone to see clearly. Because remember that your Kundalini Chakra and your navel chakra are very linked to your 5 senses. Your sense of smell, your sense of taste, your sense of seeing clearly and hearing clearly, and your sense of touch, to touch the truth that these are the people who served you for so many, many years, and you know they're very excited that somebody is getting married and it's it's not touching your heart chakra is not open to reciprocate with the people who are serving you. So that can immediately set up a vortex of healing the Kundalini, healing the navel chakra, healing the crown, and opening up your heart to share, to love, to comfort, to connect. And it can be corrupted very, very easily. Your heart chakra and your navel and Kundalini can just shut down, and you can have a lot of, people who have shut down navel chakras can have a lot of digestion issues. They can have pain in the stomach. They can have backache. And people who have very, very blocked Kundalini, of course, Divya's already stated that it doesn't really shut down. It's just like experiences a little bit of movement, stillness in the movement a little bit. And that will give you a lot of body pains. And it will, remember that the Kundalini Chakra is exactly where in your spinal column they'll give you the epidural injection to stop your pain receptors in the brain. So sometimes we can just become untouched by what people are feeling around us, and that could be like a disharmonious energy of your Kundalini Chakra. So compassion, love, mercy, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, all these are activated from this line of four, the Kundalini, the navel, the heart, and the crown.
So then that takes me actually to the heart, throat, and third eye.
That's a great combination.
Yes, so the heart, throat, and third eye, where we're experiencing consequences, where we're experiencing our desires and emotions, and addictions, and we're also perhaps either successfully actualizing our divine plan, or then we are unsuccessfully manifesting some negativity in our lives. So this throat and third eye communicating with the heart, with this Kundalini navel crown that is healed, how do these three then become part of the story, or what is the story here of the heart, throat, and third eye?
So when we are, I've already said that the Kundalini is the first chakra, then the navel activates, then when we take our first breath, our crown chakra gets activated, the pillar of light establishes itself, and then very slowly the energy starts sifting in the first 40 days. The heart chakra of a baby is very active. And so, when you hold the baby for burping and all, you're really looking at the back heart chakra of the baby that you're comforting and saying, I love you, I love you. And the root chakra and the Kundalini and the navel. So, your hands are very much covering all the chakras. But what happens is that when the heart is awakened, the soul self begins to communicate to activate the seat of the soul. And at that time, the first 40 days of the seat of the soul is that there is a seed that activates at the center of the third eye, right? Between your eyebrows, there is the third eye chakra, which I find that there's a little seed there, which is with love, with enough karmic consequences from a previous lifetime, and good nutrition from your mother, and lots of loving vibrations, and her desire to nurture you and to want you in her life. All those activate in the first 40 days of your human birth, and that nutrition or that energy starts to allow that seed to fructify its very strong roots. So that, past life memories, intelligence, knowledge, understanding, comprehension of how valuable is this human life, it all activates in the third eye chakra, and the roots of that seed are growing very deep into the throat, and they gently caress the shoulder chakras, and they come down through the thymus, so that you are acknowledging that, being angry is not good, being fearful is not good, and that the divine has given you very strong shoulders to shoulder all the responsibilities that you're going to have to encounter in your human life. And these roots then entrench themselves very solidly in the lung tips and in the heart. So the lung tips is that you're always aware that the divine is loving you, and the heart is having the capacity to show compassion and love, not only to the human body and to the environment and to your parents and all, but also to step out and to love the universe around you, whether it's nature, whether it's people. And then these roots very gently infiltrate into your solar plexus. And when they get to the solar plexus, there is a very, very strong rooting that has happened with your mother through the umbilical cord, so that then attaches itself and quickly connects you to your Kundalini and your root, and you become very, very strong. And that strength, remember that as a human child, for the first 1 year of your life, you're not able to really strengthen your root chakra, because you're not able to stand. You learn how to sit, but then you learn how to crawl, and then suddenly there is between the month of maybe 9-10 months, the baby will learn to stand with the support of assistance, and then the first few steps, and then you're running. So that is the process of this whole seed unfurling, and it rooting, and it's going deep through your the seat of there is the seed of the soul and the seat of the soul. So the seed of the soul,
SEED and SEAT. Okay.
So the seed is in the third eye, and the seat is in the Kundalini.
And everything in between is participating in this ebb and flow of consciousness.
Yeah, it's like an ocean.
And we have Joanne joining us. Hello, Joanne. Hello. Good morning. Love you. So she's saying that she loves this idea of rooting starting from the third eye. So in connection to that, I had a follow-up question, that this seed at the third eye, in the most ideal setting when we're doing our healing, or we go even into nature, we go on a hike, we go on trekking, just by the principle of like attracts like, is it that seed can then be a negative seed as well, that then starts growing, and then rooting into your solar plexus, and that's how addiction happens?
Yeah.
And so with the healing, we're actually uprooting gently that tree of addiction, and then planting the seed of compassion, good action, self-love, forgiveness. Is that how it's working?
Yeah. And you have to understand that when this seed, SEED, seed of the soul,
Beej. Yes.
Starts to activate, remember that the first is your eyes.
Okay.
Then is your nose. Then is your mouth and the ears. So your 4 senses are being encapsulated by the roots. So how you see, how you hear, how you smell, how you speak, and how you taste are all going to activate and give nutrition to your tree of life. So whether it's going to become a kalpavriksha, or whether it's going to become a thorny bush, or what is your tree of life really looking like? Does it bear fruit? Does it express itself in gems and jewels and the beauty, the diamonds, the rubies, the blue sapphires, yellow sapphires, pearls and corals, and so all those energies are actually in the material universe, and they're being absorbed through our senses, and they become nutritive energies. And remember that I said at the navel and the solar plexus, there is like an enmeshing of the roots. So there is a tree of life at your navel, there is a tree of life at your Kundalini, And then you have your tree of life, which is the seed that you have brought from a previous lifetime that is activated at your third eye chakra and becomes your kalpa vriksha, or the wish fulfilling tree. So that's why I said that at the crown chakra, this wish fulfilling tree of whatever you're wishing, whatever you're affirming, whatever you're saying is very, very important to be aware, because that is the energy, the vital force that's coming in and is activating your journey of this human life. And this human life is about connecting to the ocean of nectar and connecting the ocean of wellness and compassion and sharing. And finally, the most nutritive energy that sustains our tree of life is the energy of gratitude. So that's why in Reiki healing, we start with gratefulness and we end with gratefulness, whether we get connected to the KQ force and we do the invocation and the prayers, we are talking about gratefulness and devotion. And finally, with the golden cloud, we are talking about renunciation. So if we have renunciation, we have devotion and humility to share this nectarian energy forward, and we are always grateful. We are grateful for all that our eyes see. We are grateful for all that we hear and listen. We are grateful for all the fragrances and the guidance of self-awareness that we get from our nostrils, and our ability to taste that delicious flavors of the universe, and to speak and to elucidate what we are feeling. So when all this is open, remember 1/9 of the blue energies are in our Kundalini, right?
Yeah.
And 1/3 of our solar plexus energies are also nesting in the Kundalini. And half of our root chakra is also nesting in the Kundalini. So when these effulgent energies, it's like a shower or a fountain. I think it's
like
a fountain.
Spring, like a mountain
yeah.
spring.
Yeah, it's bubbling and it's flowing. And when it's flowing, then you're really safe, you're healthy, you're happy. And so when does addiction take root? Root is when the roots from our seed don't reach the seat.
Don't reach the Kundalini.
Yeah. And what is obstructing is the navel and the solar plexus. So all addiction begins from
the navel and the solar
plexus.
Wow.
So it's called greed.
So all your compulsion, the fire of dissatisfaction is growing at the solar plexus. That makes such beautiful, mystical, spiritual sense. Yeah. So grateful for that. And I think, Ma'am, Joanne asked a question that wondering how the crown chakra fits into all of this, but you just answered it.
Yeah.
That
the crown chakra is actually giving you illumination to see how to use your senses in a non-corrupted way. And also the crown chakra is eliminating in its jurisdiction and its power that it does not bring down the contaminating energies into the rest of your body. And even if it does, rooting from the soles of your feet and from your root chakra and your connection, your deep connection with Mother Earth in gratitude, in humility, in devotion, will really nurture you as a very strong and majestic tree on planet Earth, and you'll be able to bear fruit and you'll be able to distribute, and even the leaves that will fall off your tree of life will be very fragrant and non-toxic for the material universe. And even the remains of your body that will be buried or cremated will be of great value to hug Mother Earth at the end of your life and to reciprocate and show gratitude that you're leaving these sublime spiritual energies for other humans and animals and plants and all living beings to partake of.
And so actually that takes me to that one chakra that we have not covered till now.
Yes.
Which is the Hara Chakra.
Yeah, that's the most
exciting because I call it the chakra where there's either utter chaos or then there's utter calmness. Like it can't be both.
It's like a
hurricane. Hurricane. And
a tornado.
So how do we avoid this tornado at the Hara? And what is actually the Hara? And why is it, how and why is it linked to our expansion of the addiction? So the addiction is actually coming from the solar plexus and navel, where the rooting has not been permanent, and it doesn't allow the access for the seed of the soul to meet the seat of the soul in the Kundalini. That I'm going to remember forever and ever. So what is the Hara doing? That is, just I think before the Kundalini, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's just above the Kundalini and below the navel.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's the meeting point of the navel and the Kundalini. The Kundalini is your karmic destiny from previous lifetime that you've inherited and brought down to experience or to explore or to create your destiny in this life. And your umbilical connection is to the mother and father of this universe, and your physical parents and your spiritual parents from the spiritual worlds. So it's a 3-step program. And your Hara Chakra is actually part of your creative thrust. That's where your sexual organs are. That's where life is created. And it's your purpose of life chakra, of what you're going to do in this life. And it is also the base plate of your material experiences in this world. And so it is the very vital energy of spiritual and material amalgamation. And so, we can just look at it like you have a Rolls Royce and the Hara Chakra is manufacturing the energies of the petrol. That's giving you the fire to do things, to activate. So a very lethargic or addictive Hara will actually be like very stationary. It will not, the body will not move much. There's repetitive behavior. So somebody could be on drugs, somebody could be drinking, somebody could be addicted to even sex, somebody could be addicted to food. So all these, and addicted to other people, we explored that last week, right?
Yes, in much detail.
Yeah.
So now it's just kind of fitting together the blocks of understanding.
And the jigsaw puzzle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's fitting that this is, the Hara is your purpose of life, but it's also very subtly your false ego is also sitting in your Hara Chakra, where you're saying, how dare somebody do this to me? And I'm greater than God, and I can do, and I can play this role. So, finally it's about how both aspects of the Hara Chakra work in tandem with the rest of your nutritive body, the chakras. What is the nutrition? Are the cups empty? Are they full? And what are they full of? So finally, it's about how you think, how you see, how you hear, how you smell, how you taste, how you talk. So, you could be in an environment and somebody could be just pouring venom for no purpose, no reason. It could be about unknown people. They could be gossiping about people who are not present, or even people they don't know about. So people make it their business to create stories in their head and to feel good. But actually they're creating very, very bad karmic consequences that are layering up in the Kundalini Chakra, and that are then waiting to be like a bomb blast. And then when the bomb blast happens, you wonder why it happened to me, what did I do wrong? And it could be because you've been just spending all your time in futility, complaining about things that were not even impacting your life. It could be about politicians, it could be about world leaders, it could be about companies that are globally growing, it could be out of envy and jealousy and greed and pain at why they have more than I have. So it could be about your neighbors, it could be about even a tree. The other day I was talking to somebody. I was sitting in the garden and we have a kamrak tree.
Yeah.
And the star fruit. And somebody was sitting in the garden with me and they were saying, oh my God, these parrots are so unfriendly. So I was just looking at them, and then I realized that, the parrots were pecking at the fruits and some of the fruits were falling. And so I told them that it's also the tree is part of their environment and their home, and they are free to eat whatever they want. You can't say that don't eat this is mine. And then very soon we saw a squirrel run in and grab the fruit and run away. And then they said, oh, the squirrels are so fat and overfed. And I was thinking, like, how does it matter? First you're complaining about the parrots, then you're complaining about the squirrels. And I could see the energy settling in the Kundalini Chakra, which was, not even there. And then the very next day...
What did you see settle, Ma? That's not clear.
The
you saw some energy
settling of punishment.
Okay.
And then the next day we had two healers who were part of that same environment, and they were appreciating the parrots and the sounds they were making and how happy they were and how beautiful were the squirrels and how beautiful was the sounds of nature and the carpet of the fruits under the tree, and how they're going to be, maybe disintegrating and becoming part of nutrition for the tree itself. And so I was meditating that in their Kundalini Chakra, so much positivity was settling in. So I was just thinking that is the difference between a bad Hara and a good Hara Chakra. So finally, it's even simple things of interaction in a very non-performing way can affect your karmic destiny and can help you build up good fortune or misfortune. So you really have to finally understand the seed
and the seed
is very important.
So once they're connected, then we can really eradicate addiction of all kinds.
Yes.
And that is happening when we are participating with the healing energy on a daily sustained basis.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. And so we have a question, since we only have about 10-12 minutes more left. And so that concludes our 9 stories at the 9 chakra journey.
I just, go back, sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to Parveen's question about how she's going to heal her Kundalini Chakra. I was just thinking that what is it that people are, not doing in the modern world that is contaminating their Kundalini Chakras and their the nutritive vital force energies of the aura, because sometimes we're eating some vitamins, calcium and vitamin C's to build our immunity in the physical body, but what are we doing to give nutrition to our own energy body? So I found that a lot of women blow dry their hair and they wash it like once or twice a week. And they will not, so the Crown Chakra is very contaminated for the other 4 days. So, it's not just having a bath and putting water, because water is a great purifier. So if you are washing your hair every day, then that's perfect. Your Kundalini Chakra is going to be very vital and very strong, because by the time the negative energies settle into your Kundalini, it takes about 24 hours. So if you have a bath and you've washed it, then maybe even things that you've said in the last 24 hours could get washed away, right? So now if you have blow dried your hair, spent so much time in the beauty parlor and you don't want to wet it because it's going to go out of style again and you'll have to do the whole process, then take a wet towel and just rub your head down. And that will be a great tool to fix that negative energy not settling into your Kundalini Chakra and your navel. So is that clear?
Yes, Ma, very clear. So may I take a question now?
Yes.
So we have Henna. Hi, Henna. Lovely to see you this morning. So she says that how do we start to work on our navel and solar plexus chakras to help with addictions?
So the navel chakra, the best way to start is to meditate on the sun's light and the mantra that we chanted at the beginning of this session, which is Om Aditya Hridayam Punyaham Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. Divya, can you chant it once?
Yes, ma'am. Om Aditya Hridayam Punyaham Sarva Shatru Vinashanam.
So sweet, thank you. So this mantra is actually a very good mantra to get rid of all negative vibrations that are sitting in your solar plexus and in your navel chakra. The second thing is that it's to keep your navel chakra very clean. The third is to always be very grateful for the air, for the water, for the sun, for Mother Earth and the space, the 5 elements that have helped you construct your body through the placenta that was attached to the inner wall of the uterus of your mother, and who gave you, and of course to be very grateful to your mother for having given you this body, mother and father both, for giving you this body through which you can explore all your spiritual and material goals and successfully lead your life. So that's the first aspect of it. The second is that the solar plexus has the color yellow and the navel has the color white. And I have found that people who eat a banana first thing in the morning really benefit from, gathering good nutritive energies from the colors, the vital colors of the universe, and it really gets activated. And I remember once talking to a nutritionist from Cancer Hospital in New York, and he was saying that, so many people who got healing from you got so well, and we thought they wouldn't recover from the cancer, and they left our hospital, smiling and happy. So, what is healing? And then, of course, he got connected to healing through me. But I asked him for some, nutritive action that, human beings should take so that they don't get the cancer. And he said that there were 4 things that he recommended to everyone to eat on a daily basis. And he shared with me that it was almonds and walnuts, banana, pineapple juice, and coconut water. And I was just amazed at how he had structured it. And of course, he went into the amino acids and, things that it does. And there's a chemical reaction in your body. But interestingly enough, they were all white and yellow. So he said, you must soak the walnuts and you must soak the almonds. You must remove the skin and you should have, eat them. And you should masticate them and make them into liquid before you take them into your solar plexus. So, again, I would say that maybe wearing yellow and white also would be a good way to start to heal your solar plexus and navel. And so a yellow dress with the white belt would be perfect. So that was the very interesting, part of how you can work with the colors of foods that you eat, clothes that you wear, plants and flowers that you grow in your environment, books and book covers. Maybe even reading a book which has a yellow cover would be really very
comforting and exciting and balancing.
And I always tell people that the Brahmasthan or the center point of your house is your navel center, right? So it should be always a little bit empty. And the second part of it is I always tell them, if you have a table or you have, to place a potted plant which is yellow and white in color, even the pot in which you are growing the plant. Of course, the plant will be green and, there'll be mud, so it'll be brown. But if it's yellow, or maybe there's a cushion, maybe there's a light that you can hang which gives the yellow light. So you can activate, and that activates the navel center of the house. And if there is somebody who's addicted or is suffering from addiction, will be greatly helped even by just the simple act.
So I also echo Henna's response. She's saying thank you with some purple and green hearts. So that's really lovely.
So she's activating the third eye chakra and the heart.
Yes.
Purple and green. So see, the universe is saying, I've understood and my heart is open to experiment. Lovely.
So grateful, Ma, for this lovely morning Sunday collective. The energies feel a little bit different. I don't know why that is. But I'm so grateful to everyone who's joined us live, and grateful to all of those who will be listening to us, again and again as we put it up on YouTube. Yeah. So if there are any other questions, we have about 5 minutes, so we can take some questions or healing requests.
We are sending out healing to all of you, that all your chakras and all your karmic resonance and your ability to see right, hear right, smell right, taste right, and touch the truth of devotion, humility, gratitude, and illumination, so that you can see everything clearly. You can be grateful for everything that you have received and will receive in the future, and to stop worrying about the future and worrying about the past, the things you didn't do them in the now. So beautiful.
That is absolutely beautiful. And we have a healing request from Rajni Lakhanpal, who says that she would like healing for her home. Pooja Didi says that she's so grateful for the Sunday Collective and will listen to it again and again, as does Beenu Lad and Gauri and Gautam Chadda. And we have Avishi, who says, grateful, ma'am.
Love you.
And then we have one question, which I think I'll take, from Varun, who says, Madam, what will be the best thing to do for Delhi people who are smoking cigarette without self-will because of bad air quality? How to stay protected from lung cancer and have good lungs, madam? This is... Varun, this is a very big healing moment for you and for everyone else.
Yeah, the Delhi air is very clean. It's exactly, you're just telling me about all the things I told you not to do.
Yes.
Is that you are hearing things or seeing things or smelling things or tasting things that are not your problem. You should be very grateful for the air that the trees are providing, the oxygen and the environment in Delhi, and that you are going to send out the healing light. Or pray for the wellness of all the people who are smoking, that they are not addicted and they are getting, sufficient pleasure from maybe just one smoke, and, they can reduce. And so stop complaining about Delhi air and Delhi and the people and the cancer and all. Remember that lung cancer only comes when we feel insufficiency of love of the divine. So send out a healing request that you're very grateful that the divine loves you, and you're very grateful for the people of Delhi who love you and who are also seeking divine intervention for whatever is not going right in their lives. And everybody is praying as a collective force of seeking wellness for planet Earth and the people on it. And love your life, be grateful, be humble, and never complain.
I think that's a perfect space to really say goodbye for now.
Love you.
Until we meet again.
Next Sunday.
Yes.
God bless. Love you. Bye.